guys, it's Hannah. So this is a book review that I've been meaning to do for the last couple of weeks, but my camera has stopped working. So I'm filming off my phone, which is why it looks a bit different today. So the book I'm going to be reviewing is Lily's Just Fine, which is the first in the Galloway Girls series by Jill Stewart. I got this as an ARC of Netgalley in return for an honest review. So all of these thoughts and feelings are my own. And yeah, let's start with the review. So this book is out on the 11th of July this year, and it is a contemporary read, which I really enjoyed, which I will get into in a minute. But first I will read you the synopsis so you can find out what it's about. Lily couldn't have planned life better for herself. She lives in the best house in town and she's dating the most popular boy in school. Everything else she can fix. Mum's apathy on it. The stuffy gala committee, watch this space. Tom has had enough on his plate without trying to drag Newton's Saint Cuthbert into the 21st century. His sister is sick and there's nothing anyone can do. No doctors, not his parents, and certainly not Lily Hildebrand. Sail away this summer with the unexpected romance of Scotland's most determined teenager. Okay, so like I said earlier, this was a request of mine on Netgalley, and the reason I requested it wasn't just because of the description, which sounds amazing anyway, but also the cover, which I will link. I will show on screen. Yeah. It's just beautiful, and I was really intrigued with the whole, I don't know, I think it was more of like the school bit of it, because it does look very organised and it does look like it's going to be quite a schooly one, which it isn't. It's set outside of school, even though they do have little elements where they go in. But yeah, it kind of drew my eye when I was looking through the website, and I am so glad I read this book, because the books that I read before this was the After series, which I'm going to be doing a review on, or more like a rant on, and it kind of got me into a slump. So I thought if I read a nice contemporary, get myself out, and I did just that with this book, and it was perfect. It was exactly what I wanted and exactly what I needed. When you're reading the book, the main theme obviously is the romance of it, but there are some underlying themes which get mentioned, such as LGBTQ and mental health. I will be going into spoilers in a minute, just to pre-warn you. Personally, I felt that these points weren't as, I don't know, I mean, they were there, but I don't think the book would have changed much if they weren't there. So for me, it kind of felt like they needed to either be bigger points and have more of an impact, or just not be there at all. It felt a little bit like they were there for the sake of it, which was a bit of a shame because it just didn't feel right. So going into a bit of the spoiler part, the LGBTQ aspect was to do with the gala, which is mentioned in the description. Basically, Lily, Tom, and both their friend Gemma help out with this gala, pressured by Lily. And every year this gala has a queen. And Lily remembers from her childhood that her sister was in line to be queen until people found out that she was dating a girl, and then she didn't. She wasn't allowed to be queen. So Lily thinks that they should have a rainbow court of a queen, king, transgender, gender neutral, everyone. Everyone should be involved. So she tries to get different people involved, and the adults of the community are adamant that it's not going to happen. And then it kind of other storylines take over until a completely separate character, which we don't really see much, kind of brings it up again, and then it kind of again goes back down. It's quite important at a part, and then it's gone. And then by the time they actually do the gala, it's like, well, unless it's just me because I'm doing this review like a week or so after I've read the book, but I personally can't remember it being mentioned during the gala. Maybe it was, but it wasn't that big that I remember it. And yeah, I think it should have been either more involved, and it would have been really good because they could have done a lot with that, and it would have included everyone, which would have been nice. And then the next theme that I wanted to talk about was the mental health issue. So during the beginning of the book, it's Lily and her mum on their own, living at home. Her dad's working away. Her mum's really distant. She doesn't understand why. And then she later finds out that her mum is depressed, and her siblings come back. Her dad comes back. They all rally around the mum, and she finds out that her mum has been depressed twice before, and they just never told Lily about it. But again, it's mentioned but not dealt with. So Lily there's no feelings there about it. There's no anger towards what's going on. The fact that the rest of her family's abandoned her to deal with her mum on her own without telling her. We don't really see much of the mum herself other than a few scenes. Yeah, it was a bit strange. I think with the two themes, they should have just picked one and done more with it than trying to do both and trying to, like, I get why they do it, because in books you do want to kind of have a bit of everything, but it would have been so much better if they'd just focused on the one theme and had so much more to say and had more detail and had an actual message there. Because for me, it was kind of like, okay, well, her mum's depressed and all of a sudden she's ignoring that and she's going back to the gala. It wasn't as involved. And like I said, they could have just not been there and it wouldn't have made much difference to the storyline, personally, for me. Okay, so Lily as a character, she's great. She can be really annoying at times, but you do get that. But she has this perfect life, and she's used to controlling everything, every aspect, every person in her life. And like, there's this one, I can't remember exactly what it said, but her friend Gemma says something to Tom about the gala committee, and it's something like Lily wants people there, and he was like, he turns around and said, well, if Lily wants it, then it's going to happen, kind of thing, because that's just what happened. Like, everyone kind of does what she wants. She has control. So when she doesn't, when she kind of starts to lose control, obviously with the gala, the adults are in control, with her mum and her family, and I think with Tom as well, she feels really out of control around him. Her life starts to fall apart. But I don't know, I don't think there was enough of a reaction about it from her. For me personally, it was more of she didn't show emotion so much. Like, yeah, with the gala, she got angry and she kind of just plotted new ways. And she was like, well, let's just do it anyway. And once people know about it, they can't stop us. With her mum, there was no... With other books I've read and with real life and what I've experienced, if someone was going through that, if someone had found out that their whole family had been lying to them, that their mum was ill, there would be a point, like, yeah, they might try and keep it together, but there would be a blowout at some point. Something would happen, it could be the slightest thing, and it would blow up. And it just didn't happen, which didn't feel very realistic to me. And I don't know, even with Tom, like, there wasn't emotion. Yeah, she got upset, she was happy, that kind of thing. But it still felt fake and a bit forced. So I think that was... She's great and she's lovely to read, and like, I just don't think you can get so involved with her character because of it. It's kind of like you're reading from a distance. You can't connect fully with her, which was a real shame for me. But then I think also with Tom, there was quite a few issues surrounding his character development that I wasn't keen on. Personally, he felt a bit 2D for me. He didn't have much of a personal backstory. So most of the background talked about was to do with his sister and her illness, but there wasn't much about him. So it was like, okay, well, we know he's looking after her, we know he's helping out, but what
about when he was young, or what about him as a person, not as seen as like a carer kind of thing, or as a big brother. And like he had, like, obviously when you're around different people, you do act differently. So when he was around Sarah, his sister, he was completely different when he was around Lily, for example, which was quite nice to see because it is realistic. I don't know, I think you do get to a point where you do kind of start to become comfortable around people, and it wasn't really shown to be, well, he's now comfortable around Lily, he can now joke around with her and mess around and do that kind of thing that he would with Sarah. So, yeah, I think the book as a whole was absolutely amazing, but there was quite a few issues with the character development that I would have liked improving on, but you can't really have everything. It's one of them. To overview my thoughts, I loved the book. It was an amazing read. Honestly, I'm not too sure as to whether I'd read it again, but at the time when I read it, after reading the After series, I needed something like that to just get me out of a reading slump, which it worked. I needed something like, it was a fluffy romance, it was cheerful, it was happy, and it was just one of them books where you just, you know that you could just read it and you don't have to worry about like what's going to happen or that kind of thing. It's a nice read, it's a fun read, and I really enjoyed it. But like I said, I don't know whether I would read it again. So I have rated it a 3 out of 5 stars on Goodreads because I did enjoy it, but there was some things that I really would change, such as the themes and the characters. It felt like it was halfway there. It just needed a bit of a push to get over. Okay, so like I said, this book is going to be released on the 11th of July this year. And yeah, read it. See for yourself. See how you enjoy it, or whether you do, or what you think of it. We all have different opinions, and these were mine. I think if someone else read it, they might. I do know that other people have been reviewing it and they've loved it. They might have found a couple of issues as well, but that all in all, it has got really good reviews. So give it a try. Like I did say at the beginning of the video, and I have put down below, this is all my thoughts and feelings, my opinions. Netgalley has asked just for an honest review, and that is what I've given. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.